So what's going on guys, Kade is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the top 3 best healer builds for PvP and PvE in New World. So for each and every single build I will explain what attributes and perks you want to have, then what gems and specific gear you want to use. Then as well I will show you the gameplay of me using the build so you would know which abilities you want to use first on your enemies or your teammates and much more. So then moving over to the first build, which is the one and only Life Staff and Ice Gauntlet, and these are the attributes you want to have. So first things first, if you start from level 0, you want to get your focus to 150 and then start building your constitution, but always have this 3:1 ratio, so if you have 90 in focus, have 30 in constitution, and so on and so forth. And around level 60 you should have 300 in focus and 100 in constitution. And last but not the least, for your gear you want to go with full medium armor, but feel free to have 1 or 2 gear pieces of heavy armor as long as you stay in the medium category. So then moving over to the first weapon, which is the Life Staff, and these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first of all you want to unlock this perk and then the first ability called the Sacred Ground. And then afterwards unlock all these 4 perks. Then now let's go over to the other side and unlock the second ability called the Orb of Protection, and then unlock the next 2 perks to him. Then lastly unlock the last third ability called the Beacon, and then these 2 perks. And now from this point you're feel free to pick and choose which perks you want to unlock next. And now let's move over to the second weapon, which is the Ice Gauntlet, and these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first of all you want to unlock all these 3 perks and then the first ability called the Ice Storm, and then get these 3 next perks. Then from here let's move over to the other side and unlock this 1 perk and the second ability called the Ice Shower, and then unlock the next perk to him as well, and lastly unlock the last third ability with the next perk. And now from this point you'll feel free to use your points in whatever order you like. Okay, so now let's go over to the gameplay where I will show you the best way to play this build. So first of all, you are a support healer, which means that your main objective is to heal your teammates from a distance. So let's take this practice target for an example as one of your teammates. So you always want to use your Q ability, aka the Orb of Protection, because it has a lot lower cooldowns than the other spells, and you can simply point your mouse cursor at your teammate's ground and instantly heal him. Then the other 2 abilities are more and longer lasting AoE healing spells, so I would aim them where you can see most of your teammates grouped up and just not only one player. So the R spell, aka the Sacred Ground, is another instance healing spell, where then the F spell, aka the Beacon, you have to aim and cast it for a split second, but it works the same. So now let's move over to the second weapon, which is the Ice Gauntlet, and your Q spell is called the Ice Storm, which all the enemies standing in it will get damaged and slowed, and the more enemies you hit, the higher damage you will get. Then your R ability is called the Ice Shower, which then using will create an ice wall, and if players go through it, it will stun them. And lastly, the third ability is basically like an ice block, which by using you put yourself in a block where players cannot damage you, and you can as well get out of it by pressing the same F key or instead press the right mouse button and make it explode while going out of the ice block, dealing even more damage to the enemies. So as far as your healing goes, there is no specific way to use your spells. Just use the R and F spell on multiple players, and for solo players use the Q spell. And then for the Ice Gauntlet, when farming mobs or even players, the best spell combination to do is place the Ice Storm, aka the Q ability, and then go Ice Block by pressing the F ability, and players or the mob standing in the storm will be taking a lot of damage every single second, and you will be fully protected in the Ice Block. So now for my final conclusions for this build. This Life Staff and Ice Gauntlet weapon combination right now in my opinion is the best and strongest healer build because you can use it in 1v1s, open world PvP, 50v50 wars, then even in PvE expedition farming and much more. As you are a healer, you can always stay in the backline and support the rest of your teammates with all the healing spells. And then at the same time you can switch to the Ice Gauntlet and deal damage, or go into an ice block and get out of a dangerous situation. Last but not the least, you can use medium armor so you can survive for a lot longer, and you still get that 10% increased healing, plus all the other buffs we get from other perks. And then as for your gems, for the Ice Gauntlet you want to use the Arboreal gem, then for your Life Staff get the Rally gem, And then for all of your gear, amulets and everything else, use the Wilderness Ward gem. So in a quick summary, if you're looking for a very strong healing build that is very good in every single activity in the game, then this is the build for you, so enjoy! So now let's move over to the second healer build, which is the Life Staff and Great Axe. And these are the attributes you want to have. So first things first, you want to get your focus to 150 or even 200. And then start building your constitution, and then lastly the strength. And around level 60 you should have 50 in strength, 200 in focus and 150 in constitution. And then for your gear you want to go with full heavy armor, but feel free to even use a shield on your back if you want your character to look even better. But that won't add any gear score or remove something else. So for the shield, it's your own personal preference. So then moving over to the first weapon, which is the Life Staff. And these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first of all, you want to unlock this perk and then the first ability called the Sacred Ground. And then afterwards unlock all these 4 perks. Then now let's go over to the other side and unlock the second ability called the Orb of Protection. And then unlock the next 2 perks to him. Then lastly unlock the last third ability called the Beacon, and then these 2 perks. And now from this point you'll feel free to pick and choose which perks you want to unlock next. And with that said, let's go over to the second weapon, which is the Great Axe. And these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first things first, if you start from level 0, you want to unlock this Reap ability, and then with the next perk. Then afterwards unlock the second ability called the Charge, and then get these 2 perks. And now let's move over to the other side and unlock all these 3 perks. Then last but not the least, unlock the last third ability called the Gravity Well, and then the next perk to him as well. And now from this point, you're feel free to pick and choose which perks you want to unlock next. Okay, so with all of this out of the way, now let's go over to the gameplay, where I will show you the best way to play this build. Okay, so first of all, you are a tank/healer, which means that you can be more in the front line and still engage and do damage to the enemies. So as we already covered on how to use and play the Life Staff, I will just go straight into the Great Axe. So your Q spell is called the Gravity Well, which you can aim and shoot, and all players standing in that AoE will get stunned and damaged. Then our R spell is called the Reap ability, which by using you can pull back an enemy. And then lastly we have the F ability, aka the Charge, which by using you charge into an enemy, which basically is like a dash. And on top of all of this, it deals damage as well. So it is really good in running away or engaging into a fight. So the way you want to attack is by first of all using the Gravity Well on the enemy, and then following it up with the Charge ability. When the enemy is about to run away, pull him back with the Reap ability. And then of course when your character or your teammates get low health, use the Life Staff. And you can use all of the spells in no specific order. And last but not the least, as you are a tank/healer, you have the ability to block incoming attacks. So when you are in a close combat with your enemy, feel free to use normal attacks, and in between 1 or 2 attacks, use the block as well. So now for my final conclusions for this build. This Great Axe and Life Staff build is very popular in 50v50 wars, as with the heavy armor you can be very tanky and still do stunts and AoE damage. But most importantly, you can run around and heal your teammates while being super tanky. So of course you won't do as much damage as in the previous build we looked into, but if you want to be that annoying healer tank that just doesn't die and can keep on supporting and healing his teammates 24/7, then this is the build for you. Last but not the least, for your gems, for the Great Axe you want to use the Emerald gem. Then for your Life Staff, get the Rally gem. And for all of your gear, use the Enix Physical Ward gem. And if this sounds interesting to you, then check this build out and have fun. And with all this said, now we have come to the last third build, which is the one and only Life Staff and Hatchet. And these are the attributes you want to have. So first of all, like all the other healer builds, you want to push your focus points to at least 150. And then start building your constitution. And at around level 60 you should have 50 in strength, 250 in focus and 100 in constitution. But of course, like I said from the start, you're feel free to use this build from any level. And lastly, for your gear you want to go with full medium armor. But like I explained already, in the first build you can mix and match. So now let's take a closer look at the first weapon, which is the Life Staff. And these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first of all, you want to unlock this perk and then the first ability called the Sacred Ground. And then afterwards unlock all these 4 perks. Then now let's go over to the other side and unlock the second ability called the Orb of Protection. And then unlock the next 2 perks. Then lastly, unlock the last third ability called the beacon, and then these 2 perks. And now from this point, you're feel free to pick and choose which perks you want to unlock next. So then let's go over to the second weapon, which is the hatchet. And these are the weapon masteries you want to have. So first of all, you want to unlock this berserk ability with these 2 perks. Then afterwards, unlock the second ability called the feral rush, and then these 2 perks. Then lastly, unlock the last third ability with these 2 perks. And now from here, let's take a closer look at the other side and unlock this one last perk, and that's it. Now again, from this point and onwards, you're feel free to choose in which order you want to unlock the next perks. Okay, so now let's go over to the gameplay where I will show you the best playstyle to play this build. So again, we already looked into the life staff twice, so I will just skip that part. So then going straight into the hatchet, and when attacking an enemy it is super simple, you want to use your Q ability, aka activate the berserk mode. And then keep on using auto attacks and use the R and F ability, which are just simple damage spells. The best thing about the berserk mode is that it will give you self-healing and movement speed, so you can use it to run away or run towards an enemy. And as this build is super simplistic and straightforward, and the only thing that you need to know is that we have unlocked the throwing axe ability. So to escape an enemy attack, you won't be able to block it, but instead use the medium armor and dodge their incoming attacks. But on the other hand, now we can use throwing axe, which you can use to pull mobs or hunt animals from a lot further distance. Or on the other hand, you can finish off players with low health. So how it works, you use it the same mouse button that you would use for blocking, so for me it's the right mouse button, and then I aim it and shoot it with the left mouse button, and that's it. Just of course keep in mind that every axe throw will consume your stamina, so use it as much as you can but never get below 20% stamina, so then you would get it back super quickly. And with all this said, now for my final conclusions for this build. This hatchet and life staff weapon combination is very good in solo leveling and just farming dungeons in general. As a healer, if you just have a life staff, you won't be able to get killed in 1v1 or even 1v2 PvP. So I recommend this build if you play solo a lot and want to farm, as the hatchet berserk ability gives you a lot of speed, and you can easily kill big bosses by yourself. And then as far as the PvP is concerned, it is still decent, but I would definitely recommend the other 2 builds. And last but not the least, like in the previous build, for your gems for the hatchet you want to use the emerald gem. Then for your life staff, get the rally gem. And for all of your gear, use the Enix physical ward gem. So if this build sounds fun to you, then try this one out and good luck. And that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other healer builds that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe, and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I'll catch you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.
Yo, I ain't here